Alright guys, so as I said, I'm already under the car. This is the front. This is basically just how to go ahead and change out your oil and your oil filter. And so there's really just two things that you need to do in order to go ahead and do this. And that is, I pulled out my old oil filter right there. That came from, let's see if I can get it. Now I have a cap on this hole, and I just pull the cap off, and then the oil filter goes right in there. And there's a bolt where that hole is, where you see a little bit of oil dripping out slowly. And that bolt for me on my Hyundai is, I want to say 11/16, but let me make sure. Yep, 11/16. So 11/16 pulls out that bolt, the plug is what it's known as. And then this I just hand tighten. That's the replacement. That's the bolt or the plug. And so then you just let it drip out into that pan. I also use like a little tote cover, so I want to make sure not to get any oil. It is a messy job. And so that drains out the oil. And then after you drain out the oil, you want to go ahead and put in the new oil filter and the new plug. Like I said, you just tighten it. Use a socket wrench to put the plug back, and then as far as the oil filter, you just hand tighten that in. Put in your new oil on the top using a funnel, careful not to spill, and you're done. So, thanks a lot guys. I know this was a short video, but I like to give you guys a daily update on maintenance that I have to do. That way you guys can take care of it yourselves as well. And to give you an idea on this, that oil cost me 16 bucks. And parts for this, I want to say, let's see, the oil filter was 6 bucks. I already had the socket wrench set, and I did buy myself an oil filter wrench, but I returned it. But if you need it, that was like 6 bucks on Amazon. I even bought the oil on Amazon, so, and that's good quality oil. So yeah guys, alright, take care. I'll see you guys on the road. Guys, a couple of things I wanted to mention. Wrapping up the oil change that I forgot to mention earlier. One, when you go to tighten the plug, you want it tight, but don't over tighten it. You want it firm, obviously, so no oil leaks out, but you don't want to tighten it so hard that you strip the metal. Otherwise, you're going to be buying a new oil pan. And that's a bit more work. Also, number two, definitely, while there is no oil in your car, do not, and I repeat, do not start the car. They say that oil is like the blood of a car, and although I am not a doctor, I don't know for sure what would happen, but I'm pretty sure if they started your heart with no oil, you'd be dead, or with no blood, you'd be dead. So, same goes with the car. You will kill it dead if you start it with no oil. Number three, I reuse my funnels, but I wash them out and I clean them out with paper towels. Not so much a rag because I don't want particles from the rag to go in the oil filter, but again, going back to the whole human blood thing, you want this to be as pure as you possibly can for the oil, so clean it out after every use. Make sure everything's clean. And then for me, you know, I just put the God, I don't know why I'm having a brain fart today. You put the funnel in and pour away. For me, my car takes, the Tucson, I believe the manual said it takes 4.3 liters. So, you know, make sure not to overfill it either. Yeah. God, that's tight. Alright, I unscrewed the plug, and for those of you who do not know what I just did, basically, let's see, can I get it like that? There we go. That hole right there is where the cap came out. Alright, in there, I take my oil, there we go, and take out the cap and pour away. Alright guys, thanks again. See you on the road. Hey guys, it's me again. I think I'm just going to upload this in one video instead of several small ones, because that seems a little redundant. So if I don't edit it out, you're going to hear me say hello a lot. But, so I just finished putting in the oil. I also checked my Freon levels, and I upped it a little bit because I just needed that. I mean, it's a 2011 and we're in 2018, so, you know, it is what it is. And we're at 120,809 miles. So, we're doing good for almost a 10-year-old vehicle, you know? So, where I was going with all this, also too, I wanted to talk about oil types, because a lot of people worry about, you know, what type do I put in and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to say two things on that. The disclaimer, you should always refer to your owner's manual or call your dealership with your VIN, and they should be able to tell you how many quarts of oil and what type and all that good stuff. Mine, for instance, says that I should be using 5/20. Now here's the second part where I'm going with that. The first, sorry, I got a text message. The first was, you know, always consult your owner's manual. Secondly, I read mine, and like I said, it was 5/20. I disregarded that and went for 5/30. I went for a thicker fluid. Now, as I said a few times before, I live in Arizona, so a lighter oil with less thickness is okay, because heat and all that kind of stuff. Or so that's what, when I was younger, Jeffy Lube had told me. I don't know if I should name drop, but I don't ever go back there. But I go with full synthetic 5/30. It lasts longer, it's thicker, I don't have to change it as often. my ex-brother-in-law was a mechanic for, again, I'm going to name drop it, Firestone for quite some time. And he had told me, that at 3,000 or 3 months, that's what the dealerships and the manufacturers recommend because it helps out on sales. Honestly, you don't necessarily have to follow that. Those are more like guidelines. But with how much I drive, I would say I change out my oil every 5 to 10,000, depending on how I feel and how much time is passed and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really have a mathematically sound. I would say on average I change mine out about 8,000 miles. So I kind of change mine out, once every 60 to 90 days. If not more. And the reason why I do that is because oil, I don't really play around on, it's relatively cheap. Like I said, I bought the 5 quarts of oil for $16.90 something, so basically $17. It's not worth it to me to have a blown engine over $16 every 60 to 90 days, and I can write it off on taxes. So whoop-de-doo. The reason why I don't go into the dealers or shops in general is because 2 reasons. One, if you do get it on sale, it's the cheap, crappy oil, usually. Or, if you don't get it on sale, the oil change that I did cost me roughly around $100. Like I said, I did full synthetic. I use GTX just because I've been using that ever since I was a kid, so Castrol oil, Castrol, I don't know how to say it. I just know that it's the green bottle. Usually it's the green. It can kind of change. You actually have to read. But, point is, GTX, that's what I like, that's what I know. Everybody's got their own opinion on that, but it's worked great for me. Those of you who have never changed oil on your car, it is messy. And for the love of God, don't spill it on pavement because it is hard as shit to get out. It's not impossible, it's just going to take you a little while, and that's why I look like I'm hot and out of breath, is because I did spill on my way to pouring it out into the can or into the container it came in, so that way I can bring it to AutoZone and they can dispose of it properly for me. Sometimes there's like a $2 charge or something like that, but usually they just tell me where to leave it and I go about my day. Because they're going to filter it and resell it anyways, or reuse it in some way. But yeah, so it's really hard to get out. But pro tip, if you guys do spill, I don't know how many of you ever worked in fast food or anything like that, but degreaser will get that out real quick. Also, wear clothing that you don't so much care about, because, chances are your first time around, you're going to get it on you. Might I recommend latex gloves, because that'll help keep your hands clean. I did not use latex gloves this go around, just because I'm in the process of moving, and I don't really feel like I need them. Paper towels will suffice. And if I get my hands a little dirty, oh well. So, yeah, so now that for sure wraps up everything, and thanks again, guys, and I'll talk to you later on.